Recording. So welcome, Alessandro, and
Hello, everybody.
it's very exciting to this Pranic Anthropology. It's very exciting subject. So why don't you first tell us like who you are and how come you do this and interested in prana and tell us a little bit of background about you.
Hello to everybody. I'm Alessandro, and basically I'm an anthropologist, and my focus on this, I always study, the ancient culture and all the traditional medicine that the ancient culture bring to us, And when I discover, pranic nourishment, thanks to Jas Mohin and to her book, I became interested in the subject. And I start to study the relationship that all cultures have through prana, and starting with the name, because, for example, people from India, they call prana. People from China, they call chi. And the Japanese call ki. The Greeks people call pneuma. And the Christian people call Holy Spirit. And then we can understand that every culture named this kind of energy that heal and generate everything, And I say, oh my God, the ancient time, they really always know, this kind of relationship. And I discovered pranic nourishment because I experienced a lot of fasting before, And when you understand the difference between fasting and pranic nourishment, that fasting is like an ancient heal tool, to heal. You can find this is in the Bible, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Quran, because it's a very ancient tool to heal, But pranic nourishment is more ancient than this, because, when the human being didn't discover like the agriculture, the animal breeding, the human being was fed like is picking some fruit and nourished by prana, and then you can understand how ancient is the pranic nourishment. I think it's one of the ancient kind of nourishment that we can understand and we can find, in the history. And then, I start to study that, and I really got fascinating because, for example, for the Chinese people, they understand that this kind of illness that we have sometimes is the lack of oxygen that we have in the body, because healing is like the energy that can go freely in our body and can flow. This is the healthy, the movement of the energy through our body, and then we can understand how prana moves in our body. The Indian people, they call pranayama, they like the science of breath, because they understood that if you think about it, breathing is the first and the last things that we did in our life. We start our life with breathing and we finish with breathing, and then in the middle of this journey there is life, and then it's crazy, the relationship that we have with the beginning. Sometimes people say that every breath it's a new beginning. As is true, because every breath is like this. It's like restart again, when we stumble and then we just take a breath and we start again, with our life. And then it's very nice, the connection, And yes, I remember that when I experienced my first pranic retreat, the 21 days, pranic retreat with in France, I remember, I discovered that maybe fasting, these words completely disappear from my vocabulary, because when you live in the opulence, in abundance, of the prana, you understand that fasting is like, another word, is like the past, But I am happy because, I experienced 6 years with different kind of fasting, like liquid, water, dry fasting. But when you discover pranic nourishment, it's like, the best journey that I had in my life, and for example, all the connection with the Greek people, and also the people from Malaysia, they call manas, you know, this kind of energy. And you say, oh my God, this, it's unify, you know, it's unify all us, you know, unites all us. And after this, when I have the luck to meet Jasmuhin, you know, because she was my mentor at the beginning when I discovered this. We experienced this like this dark room retreat in Thailand that she facilitates, you know. And then I discovered there that I can facilitate also pranic nourishment as well. And it's like 5 years that in Italy, another country, I facilitate this kind of retreat. And it's good when you understand how prana works in your body, that you can facilitate to other people. I think that all the people that understood that we have another kind of nourishment, you know, this subtle nourishment, no, that is prana. We have like a mission, because when everybody discover, have to like spread this knowledge, you know, to the people. And in this like last 10 years, a lot of people is interesting about this this kind of nourishment, because I think that the worst drug is food, you know, because, you know, if we can imagine, you know, in the ancient time when the people nourished because they just pick, you know, fruits from plants and nourished by prana, you know, and how how many times we eat a day, it's crazy, you know, because we cannot heal ourselves. Our body is perfect. Every cell has its own brain, you know. And when we understand that we need to give time, you know, to the body to, you know, to release and to heal, you know, because we don't do nothing, you know, just the body is very intelligent, very smart to understand the best way to heal. And the best way to heal and to stop eating sometimes food and like be fed in another way, you know. And when a lot of people ask me what's the difference, no, between fasting and pranic nourishment, is that when we are in pranic nourishment, we communicate with our cell, that these cells are always fed, you know, 24 hours a day. We live in this opulence, in this abundance, you know, that prana is. And you know, for us, the common people, because I am a common people, and when I read this book, you know, of Just Muhin, because this kind of knowledge was for the yogi at the beginning, you know, just the yogi people understood, they knew that we can be fed by prana, you know. But thanks to her in the 90s, that she started to travel the world and talk to the people and to the media, and you can imagine all the media and all the people, how they treat her, you know. At the beginning, she was crazy and everything, but she kept going to spread this knowledge. And we have to thank her, you know, because for the common people, this was the news, the big news, you know, that changed everything completely. Because, you know, when you do qigong, when you do yoga, and you feel this kind of energy, you recognize this energy. But when you understand that this energy can feed you, oh my God, this is like the big, you know, discover that we have back, you know, from the ancient time in the modern time. And yes, this was my, you know, how I meet pranic nourishment with Just Muhin. And for example, another great understanding that I had when I started to study this kind of prana in different kind of cultures, you know, that we are like part of the sorry, can you hear me? I can't hear again.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I hear you.
Oh. Oh.
Happened.
Yeah, I think he's going to reconnect, I think. Maybe he froze, maybe it froze for him or something, and he has to come back again. Yeah. Oh, this is so interesting. Oh, you're muted, Dina.
Very interesting. Yes, I totally agree with everything you said, especially, you know, we take first breath, last breath, but in the middle, we forget how to breathe. And I've learned that, you know, through the Qigong techniques. And I'm like, wow, you know, and it helped me through some of the difficult times of this fast, just practicing that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we forget that the breath is actually meant to be the nourishment for us.
Sorry.
Oh, here is. Oh, here you are. Yeah, we could hear you. We could hear you well. You just like, you know, disappeared.
Maybe my connection, because I'm in a place that. Oh, okay. Can you? Now I'm back again. Yes. I don't know if Dima is like. Do you have any question? If you want to, like, I like to communicate also with the.
No, I mean, I resonate with everything you're saying. You know, I was just saying to Monica that, you know, we breathe, we take our first breath and we take our last breath, but in the middle, you know, I forgot how to breathe. And I realized that through some of the Qigong techniques. And I'm like, wow, you know, it really helped me through the difficult times of this dry fast, because I almost, you know, said, hey, this is not for me. But I began to get my nourishment from the breathing techniques. And the breathing techniques that I do, I realized I wasn't doing it right, you know, and it's just a wealth of knowledge. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was. It's very interesting. The people from India and the Ayurveda, the pranayama, the asana, the mudra, the mantra, all the development, you know, about this kind of energy that they have, you know, with them. Yeah, with the gesture, with the prana, with this pranayama, it's very complete science of breathing, you know.
After Monica, I have a question. I just start off. Go ahead, Monica.
Yes, I have a question. Like you're saying, there came like a day when you realized the difference between fasting and the pranic nourishment, and I have a question about that, because when I fast, like now we're dry fasting, we're on the third day, and always on the like third and fourth day I get very weak. So it's like I haven't realized yet the pranic nourishment fully. And I'm curious, like, how did you discover, like, what made you, you know, embody the pranic nourishment instead of just fasting, only fasting?
Yeah, I realize this kind of nourishment when you have this kind of bubble, or this kind of, you know, shavings a little bit that you receive when you are in connection with prana, no? You know, the difference also, you cannot live on fasting, you know, because, you know, fasting at a certain point, like, gonna eat your muscles, you know, but you can live on prana, no? And then this is the difference, you know, because when you're on prana, you are nourished, but when you do in the meditation and you start to feel this bubble, this love, you know, because at the end it's love, you know, and you feel that you are nourished, you know, by this kind of energy. And then this was the difference, you know, because the level of energy sometimes it's quite the same, because when you do a pranic retreat or fasting, you know that you have three kind of detox going on in your body. There is like the physical detox, that is like all the headache, the problem that you have on your body. Sometimes you don't have the energy to use your body because your body is healing, and then the body doesn't give you the energy for move, and then you need to stay at bed sometimes and you feel weak. But when you finish this kind of detox, it starts the emotional detox, because, food, it's like a things that and you put things over and over. And when you stop to put food, the emotion like going back, and sometimes you have this kind of detox, And for that reason, it's good to have a facilitator sometimes with you, because when you have the first like problems, emotionally speaking, physically speaking, you start sometimes to eat again, because you are scared about, when you are in a group or you are facilitated by a person. And this work is very important, this work to embrace your problem and that you are safe, in this moment. And when the emotional detox finished, start the third, that for me, it was the worst in my first 21-day process. It is like the mental detox. The mental detox is all the doubts that you have, who I am, why I'm doing this, I didn't do anything in my life, all the doubts, because the mind wants to treat you, to challenge you sometimes. You need to start to eat again. What you are doing, please stop it. These crazy things, But this is the last kind of detox, because after this, it's like the quiet, It's like that you feel really, really in peace. But we had to go over, these kind of things, because like, for example, another example that sometimes I do, I don't know if you ever experienced like Vipassana, that is like when you are like in silence for 10 days, and you discover, and, a lot of things appear, and a lot of traumas, a lot of things, but you have to go on, to practice. It's like a mind fasting Vipassana, because you stop to talk for 10 days, and it's very profound, the work that you do, and sometimes, yes, like I like to say that Vipassana, you are in the same kind of detox sometimes. We always talk, in our mind as well. And in Vipassana, they teach you, how to stop, to use the mind, and to be more in connection with your body and with your essence,
So would you say we need to detox quite much before we can realize that truly be nourished by prana?
I always say that if you want to start a path with pranic nourishment, it's good that you detox before, because when you start to do it, and you have a lot of bad things in your body. For example, it's good to empty our gut, or to purify our organs before to get in, because when we stop eating, we start to eat all the things that we have in our body, and then for that reason we have all the problem in the head, that you feel weak and all these things. But if you get in with a clean body, it's very easy, the transition, and then you can experience like soon the benefit, of prana. But obviously, it's good to practice breathing techniques, qigong, yoga, because when you don't eat, you have a lot of time during the day, and then it's nice to concentrate and focus on your body, because this is a gift that we do through our body and also to the planet. Because if you can imagine, if all the people together start to stop to eating and produce the food and the cook, for 10 days. They work and breathe easily, But we are getting close, because a lot of people want to experience that. A lot of people are understanding that the food is poison, If you are lucky that you can grow your own food, it's okay. but with the chemical trains and all the things, sometimes the prana is the best tool that we have, to be more connected, because at the end we are here to serve, all these changes that we are living. We used to pass through this like the last 5 years that was very crazy, and we don't know what will be, in next days. We have to be focused and center, in ourselves to serve all these change that we are living,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think Dina had a question, but I'm not sure if she's... Dina, are you here?
Yes.
Yes, you're here. Great. You had a question. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I have two questions. One, the book that you mentioned, what is the name of the book? And
I think it's like because I read in Italy, now I'm trying to back. It's like Pranic Nourishment. I think Just Muhin is the author. She's the author. But if you put Just Muhin on the internet, a lot of book, you can find,
Okay.
And,
all right. Thanks. Yeah. It must. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the important things is like how we say, the difference between, fasting, because fasting is an ancient tool to healing, but pranic nourishment it's like more ancient,
Yes. Okay, my second question is, what would be a good see, how can I say this? A fasting technique on a smaller scale, like in between eating, because okay, this is my first time doing this, and I've been working on eating less. I've been doing intermittent fasting. Okay, so I want to like fast maybe one day out of the week or something like that. What would you recommend to get my body used to in being in a fasting state? So when I do this pranic feast again, and I plan to, even though it was kind of rough this time around, because like you say, my body was like this, my mind was like this, and so yeah. I'm like, hey, I know enough to know not to listen to my mind, because it doesn't really know anything, especially things it tries to tell me. Because one of the things that I committed to, and it was hard, was to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And this was very uncomfortable for me, But you're right. People eat too much. I'm seeing it. And the food is garbage, and I want to be free of that. Although I love to eat, but no, I want to just, like now, I think all I want to do is just juice. That's what I think about. I don't think about solid food. I want to just juice. Now, yes, I will eat solid food, but I will be very, very conscious of the solid food that I eat later on.
For example, tell me.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, my experience now, for me, food is not just a need. It's just like a form of celebration with the people that I love. And then basically I eat 2-3 times a week in a social, way, when I'm with my family, when I'm in a meeting, sometimes a work meeting, or like just see my friends. And then, I eat, but when I go back at home, I like to stay on juices or on water. I experience dry as well, fasting. I remember with Dr. Filonov, that is here he had like he was one of my mentors, before discovering pranic nourishment. And we had a chance to talk together, and I think that dry is very powerful too, but you have to go dry when when your body is pretty clean, because it's pretty dangerous now if you go dry with a lot of food inside of your body. And then you prepare But for example, at the beginning, I always say that you can skip a meal. You can start if you eat like 3 times a day, skip one, and then start to eat 2. 1 day at weeks, just stay on water, for example, and try to the feeling to stay just on water for 1 day at week, and take it, slowly. A lot of people, for example, they didn't experience any fasting and go directly to pranic nourishment, and it's okay as well, because every human being is different. We want to achieve this state, and we come from different way to study that. And but I'm happy that I discovered pranic nourishment after like 5-6 years doing fasting, because my body was, okay with stop eating, and then it was very easy the transition, to fasting or pranic nourishment. But yes, just reduce sometimes, and try to understand when really you are hungry or just an habit, because this is a good way to understand the real hungry, or when you are bored, sometimes you eat, and then in the modern times, food is like, a costume, not more a need. And then we have to understand that,
Okay.
it's not just
right.
an habit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andres, do you also have a question, maybe?
Yeah.
You came in a little bit late.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So,
Hi, Alessandro. Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too. Thank you to be here.
Thank you. Well, no, I don't have any questions prepared for today. I did a couple of questions earlier while you were there, Monica. But yeah, I'm just curious. Like, this is what you're sharing is very interesting. I'm somewhere in between skeptical and finding more about this and stuff. But I know that this is in my mind and it's just a process. So I'm going through it. I'm very excited of finding out all the things, and yeah, just trying to figure out how, when, how much and stuff, like just living it.
Yes, it's sometimes it's more difficult to explain than to live, because when you realize, this, and you feel this sensation going through your body, and you start to appreciate all this abundance, this energy that comes to you. And obviously you visualize, you call this energy, and you receive this energy, and you trust this energy, because this is the important thing. Trust, like in everything, like in religion, in politics, the trust is like, the placebo effect, when you trust in something that is nothing, but this makes effect on you, you can understand, what I say. And but taking with time and with patience, because, starting to skipping some meal and start to have like 1 day at week and you stay on water, and you give like a nice and soft transition to your body, because some people, when it comes to my retreat, and then they say, I want to be pranic, I say, be careful, because you stay on your mind. You have to be soft with your mind, because sometimes mind trick you, and then just be comfortable with this pranic energy. Start to do exercise, start to do qigong, to do breathing technique. Be consciousness and of what is breathing. It's not just put oxygen in our cell, but if we do with this meaning that we can be fed, we can be fed on prana, it's completely different, the game,
Okay, you touch a very interesting point. ¿Qué dijo? Just wait, hold on a second, please. About trusting it and about like techniques, because to be honest, I kind of feel like I'm lacking of something, and I try with my mind to just to cut it, but it's like it's just for a moment. So I don't know if I should keep going, like maybe a meditation or maybe are different exercises. To be honest, I didn't today. I didn't put much time on that, but again, I'm still learning, so I want to put the fear away with my process and stuff. To be honest, I'm kind of afraid also. So it's like, doubts, and yeah, I'm not sure about this. And I know it comes from my mind because I have a more scientific background, just a way to say. So yeah, so more techniques and trust, I think.
Yes, because all the answer that we can find, we find inside. When we go outside, we get lost, you know. When we get in, we receive all the information, because when our minds stop to overthink, you know, and we go to meditation, we go to state of calm, you know, and we receive all what we need, you know, and then it's incredible that how easy is, you know, to stay connected. But obviously, like food is one of a lot of trouble sometimes, you know. We spend a lot of time thinking on food, buying, preparing, eating, digesting, you know. A lot of, and we can imagine that we are stuck in this process, you know, sometimes in this modern time, you know. And this is it, you know. Because it was the agenda, you know. Bacco, tobacco, e Venere, no? They say in the Roman ancient people, they say Bacco, tobacco, and Venus, you know. Like tobacco, vino, wine, and sex, you know. The human being is like stuck in this kind of practices sometimes, you know. That it's a problem, no, to the human development, no, when you're stuck in this kind of practices.
Yeah,
hello,
definitely.
A new friend coming.
Yeah, so Ellie is here.
It's happy to be here.
She couldn't come earlier, so I don't know.
Yeah.
She haven't heard anything what you were speaking of, so I guess she doesn't have many questions, so maybe she has questions anyway.
Yeah, I'm here.
I would like to hear a little bit more so I know which questions to ask, but it's good to be here. And sorry about my dog, who's been barking for the past 5 minutes.
It's part of the journey.
Yeah, definitely. But it's good to be here, and it's good to absorb the energy, and I'm very pleased to be here. And thank you for being here with us too.
We were talking at the beginning, we start to talk of that every culture name this kind of energy that generates and heals everything, you know. The Indian people call prana, the Chinese chi, the Greek people pneuma, the people from Polynesia mana, the Christian people Holy Spirit, you know. Every culture gave a name, you know, because we recognize, you know, everybody recognizing this energy, you know. That and the connection between the sun and the earth, you know, that meets, you know, and yeah, and the difference between life, the oxygen and prana as well, that the prana is the vital energy and the oxygen is like a product, you know, of this atmosphere that we have, that, you know. But yeah, we were talking about that before.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. You can go ahead. I can comment later.
No, you go ahead, because you know we don't want to interrupt the flow.
Oh no, it's okay. And we talk about also the difference, you know, about fasting and pranic nourishment when we communicate with ourselves, you know, and because you cannot live on fast, you know, but you can live on prana, you know. And and then it's just like a language that you speak with your body, you know, that you're always fed 24 hours, that you always live in this kind of opulence and abundance that is around us and is inside us, and that every cell has his own brain, his own organs, and then you know, every cell, we have to be grateful with every cells of our body, you know, that is doing a very good job, you know. And for example, there is a technique like it's called that is from Taoism, no? It's called the inner smile, you know. I don't know if you know this kind of technique. It's very nice to be to do in the morning, because you appreciate the work of your organ every day, and you give a smile to your organ, to your cells, no, for the great job they are doing, you know, they are doing, you know. And it's like a technique from the Taoism, you know, like 5,000 years ago, you know, that I discovered with Mantak Chia when I was experiencing the dark room with Jasmuhin in the Tao Garden, you know. There I met like Mantak Chia, and there was like a course there, and I experienced these inner smiles, no? This inner smile that we gives in the morning to ourselves, to our organs, to say thank you to all the great job, you know. And this is a very nice technique that you can do it in the morning, you know, because you feel with a lot of energy that you store in the dantian, you know, that the Chinese people have the dantian, you know, the upper dantian, the middle dantian, and the lower dantian. The lower dantian is our battery, you know, where we store all the chi. And in this technique, the inner smile, at the end, all this energy that you visualize like a bubble of light in front of you, that this bubble of light you put in all the parts of your body, the organs as well. And at the end, you store all this energy in your belly. And it's incredible that you are very, you feel well, you know, during all the day, you know, with this practice. That is lasts like 20-30 minutes, you know. And you can find in a lot of language, because, you know, it's very ancient, and then you can find in Italian, in Spanish, in English, in French, wherever, you know. Inner smile. This is one technique, yes, that I like to do it, you know, in the morning here. And also Qigong, I really love, you know, this gentle movement with your breath, you know. It's very helpful, and you start to feel like when you do yoga, you know, you feel this energy that moves, you know, through your fingers, and then and the great achievement, you know, the great discovery for me, that this energy that we move can nourish us as well. I think this is the best that I can, you know, understand in my life, like as a researcher, you know, because I am always on research, and I like to research like in pranic nourishment, because, you know, it's very, very ancient. I think one of the first kind of nourishment that we have, no, as we said before that human beings start to do the agriculture and the animal breeding, this was the nourishment, you know. And here we are.
Ellie, did you want to say something?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's got any connection with what we're talking about, but it's just that idea that all of the ancient masters had of the 5 elements. So when we talk about fire, water, air, earth, ether, so yeah, so it's just the way that they phrased it, but definitely they're all connected to the elements that we see nowadays. So the oxygen would be fire, then carbon would be earth. So
The
it's
carbon
all
on the
related
earth.
to what we're talking. Yeah, so
And for example, I was experienced in this last retreat that I facilitate in Italy. I was in Italy, and I experienced the sea water as well. I don't know if you guys ever experienced purified sea water. that it's incredible because seawater has all the elements, you know, the chemical tabs with all the elements. Seawater has all these elements, you know, and when I mix with the normal water, you know, and you feel very energized because a lot of minerals you get, you know, with this when you mix like 1 part of seawater and 3 parts of normal water, you know. And it's very, very nice. If you put like seawater fasting, something like this, in Spanish, for example, you have a lot of books and research about this. In Italy, it's not so common, but it was very interesting to integrate like seawater in the retreat that I'm facilitating, you know, because the people feel very well. Sometimes the juices, you know, they got a lot of sugar, you know, and then when you finish one, you want another one, like after 2 hours sometimes, because, you know, sugar is like colds, you know. But this kind of mineral salt that got seawater, it sustains you a lot sometimes when you are just on water and you need a little boost, you know, to boost to have some energy to have a walk, do qigong, do yoga, for example. And this mix with seawater was very, very good to me. And also with the people that experience, you know, they found a lot of benefits, you know, to introduce this kind of water. I don't know if you ever tried this seawater in your routine.
I
So-
haven't, but I've heard of it.
Try it because it's very nice. Yeah.
So Ali, you put a question in the chat. Could you read it?
In the chat,
Yeah, for sure.
I have one.
Oh.
Is the idea of it's similar to Keshe's foundation plasma research? Yeah, because the plasma of water, this kind of plasma, this kind of on plasma, you know, it's this, yes.
I just have a question about the seawater. So I drink structured water from a Kangen machine, and then we
Yeah.
always add some Himalayan salt. Would
Yeah.
that be in a way equivalent to putting seawater in, because the Himalaya salt is from the a sea that existed before?
Yes, I don't know this actually, but I think that you can experience, you can you know, experience and to see, you know, what. But because you drink like Kangen water
Yeah, I drink. It's a structured
or
water.
structured water, okay. And yeah, you just can figure it out and try it and see it. But for me, it was very interesting, you know, this mix, you know. Try it.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. I don't know if there's some question or.
It doesn't seem like anybody has more questions for the moment, but if you want, you could share some more of your knowledge. We still have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, for we can talk about, you know, for example, this when you this 3 detox that we were talking about before, that are important to recognize during a process, no? Because for my experience, for example, I didn't have a lot of detox, physical detox, you know, because I was pretty in shape, you know, when I start to do this kind of practice. And but when I start to facilitate and I realized that the worst is the emotional and the mental detox, you know, because it's when you start to release all the trauma, all the bad things that you had, for that reason, you have to have like a facilitator in this period, because it's very easy to fall, you know, to fall and to stop the retreat fundamentally, you know. And yes, because when you finish this kind of mental and emotional detox, you know, you start to see to live, you know, the good things about these practices, you know, when you feel so connected with nature, when you can hear like a bird that is flying close to you with you know, or you can see the leaves, you know, that and the colors, you know, as very bright, you know. And when you experience that, and you don't want to go back anymore, you know. You sometimes you can eat, you can, you know, you can do back practice, but with the intention that, you know, you're going back to this state, you know, because this is the state of freedom, you know, the state of the enlightenment. I think I start to do this practice because I remember that I was doing yoga, meditating, but when you realize that if you don't clean your body, you cannot touch this kind of vibration, you know, with all the practices that you can do it, but if you don't clean your body, you can go up here, but you cannot go over, you know, because it's very important, your state, you know, because the problem is that all the things that we collect in our body, emotionally speaking, all the, you know, because a lot of food that we ingest, we don't eliminate, you know, this kind of food. And this food, you know, gets stuck in our body, and most of the time in our gut, you know. In the gut, there are a lot of nervous system, and we have a lot of things like in the brain, you know. And then sometimes when we say that we feel in the gut, we feel in the belly, the things, and because, you know, this is very important that is clean our gut, you know, because if our gut is not clean, it's not so good to experience like good feelings, you know, and to remember, because we are here to remember who we are and to heal all the trauma that we carry on from the childhood and also before, you know. Because if you think about, I think that we have just the human being, you know, we carry on all the family things until we die, you know, because in the animal planet, you know, they get free of this, but in our lives we carry on all the things of our ancestor and our family, and, you know, until the end. And you can imagine this impact, you know, on our life, you know, because how many decisions we took because we listen the opinion of our family, of our brother, other things that sometimes change, you know, the way that we perceive the world, the things. And then it's crazy, you know, the interconnection that we have with our parents, with our family, you know. But we are son of the universe, you know, and we are different, and we are the same in the same level, no? But we need to experience our mistakes, you know, our consciousness, everything, you know. But sometimes the family, you know, like want to, and in Italy as well, you know, you can find people in Italy that stay with the parents until 50 years, you know? And it's crazy. The relationship, when I start to travel, I understand that in Italy, you know, we have this kind of family protection, you know, and this is good sometimes, and very bad sometimes, because you need to express yourself, you need to be free of this, you know, judgment of these, you know, patterns, you know, that sometimes block us, you know, and interferes, you know, with our needs, our things, you know.
Yeah. So I have a last question. So I have experienced like the Befarian lifestyle like 10 years ago. So I understand what you're talking about, this feeling of like not being dependent on anything, just this freedom. And then I lost it, and then I'm trying to get back to it. And I'm starting to cleaning my gut and cleaning the organs and, do all these things. And then life happens and I get all stressed and I started eating donuts and I'm back to it, like back in the hole. And so I like, how would you like manage that? Or what's your advice about that? Because it is like a yo-yo effect,
Yeah. My advice is, when you want to start this kind of practice, and also leave your place and go with other souls that want to experience that, because the group, you create like a soul group, where, because everybody, I'm here to support you. I'm here to cry and to laugh with you, and this freedom, that you want to experience, because we are all in the same, we want to experience that. And don't worry, because I'm here with you, and we are like a team, and then for that reason, sometimes a group therapy, it's very good. A group retreat, more, it's very good to experience that, because when you at the beginning, I used to do a lot of yo-yo, this kind of things, but it's part of the process, because we don't have to force. And then we need to understand, when we stop to eat and when we go back to eat again, we feel the difference, and we have to focus on this difference, because you feel that your body start to go slowly, and then and you feel all the sensation, and this is part of the process. And then you go on, and sometimes you do it again. It's like 5 years that I'm facilitating retreat. I did like, I think 30 or 40, and every time it's different, because I'm different, the group is different, I'm working on different issue in me, and we are here to work in all of our issue. And to forgive as well, us, because sometimes you cannot work all, you just forgive and you say thank you to be here. And because sometimes when we put mind, it's a mess, and then sometimes we just need to leave, and to let it go. And yes, but a good like how can I say, my advice is less to leave sometimes your place and to go with other people that do this. This is very helpful in my experience. And the most important, I think, period when you start to realize these things and you want to do this kind of process, and the moment that you go back at food. This it's very important, because when you are in training, when you are doing a retreat, it's easy to go on to follow the people and all the things that we do. When you go back in the real life, this is the real process, because you have to manage all the issue with the food that you have in the normal way. For example, when I facilitate a retreat with a girl that she has hit her baby, like the 4 or 5 years baby, and she need to cook, for her child during the retreat. But at the beginning was difficult, but after 2-3 days, she started to be nourished by smelling this food and accepting that this is kind of nourishment. When you feel the smell and you say, I appreciate, oh my God, this flavor, these things, this smell is nourish me, And she found the best, tools to, to don't stay in conflict with food, but to accept, accept all these kind of things. And then when you, for example, you stop to eat like for 21 days, you need 21 days to get back to food, because it's dangerous, when you start to eat again after a period of time that you don't eat, because the stomach is like a muscle, and when you start to give something, they want more. For that reason, juice is it's very good, you know, to before and after, you know, a pranic retreat, you know, because it's when we start to chew, we activate, you know, the beast inside us, and then sometimes you have to wait to chew, you know, wait a little bit, just nourish with liquid, with soap, with you know, a lot of kind of liquid that we have. But for example, a person asked me sometime, but can I mix like pizza and eat pizza liquid? No, this is not the liquid food. That was the meaning, you know. But yes, liquid food is it's very close, you know, to pranic nourishment, because you don't create a lot of acid in your body, you know, because when you start to chew, there you start to you know, to generate a lot of acid in your body that need to process the food, you know. But when you stay on liquid, it's very easy, you know, the digestion, you know, it's not so.
But if you're chewing fruit, then you're not going to produce acid in your body, right? If you're fruitarian?
Oh yeah, not so much like when you chew it like every kind of food, for sure. It's very, you know, it's better when you eat fruit, you know, because fruit is the more pranic food that you can eat. A raw food is the most close, you know, to the pranic nourishment, because you are the prana is like transform, you know, with sun and plant that create the fruit, you know. This is like a prana, no, prana, but materialized, you know, prana.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ellie is wondering, if are there any breatharian communities already in place, so you could, you know, go there and do this processing and be with like-minded people?
Yeah, and I like also do sun gazing as well in the morning and the evening, you know, because you are nourished by this energy, you know, from sun that you receive when you look at the just in the sun, you know. And yes, it's a discovery, you know. It's every day is different, you know, because we are here to learn, you know, and to connect ourselves with the best part of us.
Yes. So there was another question and in the chat, and about if there are any communities in the world of breatharians, like living together.
I don't know this if there's some community living, but you are creating one in Costa Rica, no? And then to people living free, no? But no, I'm not sure that there is one, but maybe there is. I never check it about it.
Okay.
And Testithov, Andres, I was thinking about this today.
Oh, it was the pizza.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because when I say that you can mix everything, you can blend everything, but not like pizza.
That was pretty fun, and I taste that flavor. But actually, I was thinking about something else, like that you said before about like relationships and so on. And yeah, I was thinking about that, like sharing with other people, like family and stuff, and sometimes you have their thoughts. It's very, sometimes these thoughts influence you in a different way than if you're sharing with breatharian people, for example. Like, yeah, I just commented on that. Like, I was thinking about that. Like, my mom said, "Oh, next week is holiday here, and your sister is coming, and are you planning to come?" And I was like, "No." And suddenly I associated this like, oh, she was asking me about like to buy more food for me too. So my mom is amazing. She's thinking about me, and that's great. But I was like too
But I think one of the big challenge, when we are doing this, because when we are in peace, with food and we can fast, we can stay with people also that having food, that has food, and be in peace with that, no?
Yep.
Okay.
So anybody who has any last questions? We are over the hour.
Thank you to be here.
Yes, I'm a little bit late, so I really appreciate all your sharing, but for the four of you, like Alessandro, it was great, and the four of you are here and sharing your own experiences, and just the single, the single, ¿cómo se dice?
Puedes hablar español si quieres.
Bueno, ya su única presencia, digamos, el simple hecho de su presencia, the single fact that you are here and your presence, it's a lot of help for someone like me that is in this way. It's very inspiring and warm, very warm.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yes, this was an amazing session. So really, thank you, Alessandro.
Thank you so much to everybody, and we are in touch. And
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Bye-bye.
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 Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.